Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend. Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show. And today I've got with me a great guest, a fellow former colleague and corporate powerhouse, Shanita Woodard. Say hello, Shanita.
Hi, Scott. Great to be here with you, my friend.
Doing all right?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be on the show and have a good conversation.
Yeah, so welcome to the experiment here.
Oh.
So Shanita and I worked together at ABB a while back and had some great experiences with channel partner events, and she's since gone on to be with ABB Mobile Leak Detection. What unit is that called? Is that the name of it?
It is. I represent the service offering around our mobile leak detection service solutions. And I also now represent growing business for all of our service offerings for the Americas for measurement and analytics. So a lot of exciting things going on for us now. The world, it may be topsy-turvy, but from a service standpoint, that means there's just more opportunity for us. So it's been a good ride so far.
So, and also congratulations on the, I saw, I think it was on LinkedIn, you were part of the International Women in Engineering Day. Is that right?
That's right. Thank you for mentioning that, because what's going on actually even bigger and more than me being a part of this campaign. We have chapters all across the U.S. and that initiative is what spurred ABB's goal to feature women and women from all different backgrounds and technical backgrounds in the company. And then somehow someone felt that I was one to be included in that campaign. So I was really excited to see that come out and be a part of it.
Well, they made a good choice, and congratulations for that again. So let's talk about the Shanita Woodard story. The movie. So we're making a movie. Who would play Shanita Woodard?
Ooh, I would choose Oprah.
All right, Oprah Winfrey. All right, good choice.
Yes.
You're have quite a great background here. I know just in part, Wharton School, GE, going on to ABB. So life coach,
Yes.
life coaching. How did you get, what's the origin of your story? What are the key components that make up the Shanita Woodard story?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. Wow, I hope you've packed a lunch and a protein snack, because I could be here for a while talking about myself, but I'll spare you the long version. So the short story is I have an undergraduate degree in civil engineering, and I did that for about 4 years. And I knew I wanted to stay in a technical area, but I wanted to do more business strategy work. So I went and got an MBA from Wharton Business School, fabulous 2-year program. I did it full time, so I stepped back from work. Really was an opportunity for me to build my network and really just learn what skills I have, which ones are strong, for lack of a better way of putting it, which ones are weak, and then just go forward with my strengths. And so I decided to stay in a technical industry, which was energy. And I've been on a commercial, strategic marketing, now business development, a little bit of consulting in their ride ever since. And so just thinking about my story and how I've thought about my career, I've always thought about, what are the big pillars that I want to be my guiding light. So I knew I wanted to stay in energy, and I've worked for a number of great companies in energy. I knew I wanted to be on the commercial side, so I've always looked for roles in the commercial area. I've also started, my own business. Technically, I've started 2 businesses, but I'm more focused on one now. My 2 businesses that I have are, one is called Pick Design, and I manufacture here in the U.S. and sell predominantly through e-commerce, Amazon, through my own e-commerce site, PICC line arm sleeves for
Now, what's a
people
PICC line arm sleeve?
So for people who are doing medical treatments that have an intravenous component to them, and those treatments are done for an extended period of time, they will typically have a catheter placed in their IV in their arm, or a port placed in their chest. And so for people who have a catheter placed in a vein in their arm for months or even a few weeks, there will be catheter ports exposed that they need to cover. And so I design arm sleeves that they can use to cover those exposed catheter ports. Great product. I use antibacterial fabrics. There's a lot of other attributes that I've baked into it. That's one of the businesses that I've started. Very proud of that.
How did you get into that? Where'd that idea come from? Do you know?
So that actually came from personal experience. So I've had a PICC line, and I actually use that whole experience that I went through to say, how could that have been easier for me?
Oh, yeah.
And I would encourage that for anyone who's thinking about being an entrepreneur. You know, the best way to find a new idea is to look at your own life, look at family, members, friends, and see where is there a gap, and look to see how you can fill that gap. And so I did that, and I developed a product that I would have wanted to use. Yeah. And that's worked out for me.
So what does this product do for you? I mean, does it make it easier to have does it make it more comfortable, or does it, what's it do for you? What problem does it solve?
You know, what we're doing is giving people something that they can use. Well, actually, I got 2 points on this. Number one, we're giving people something that they can use and continue to live their life, and people see them and not see the PICC line. So for example, throughout the period that I had a PICC line, I continued to work. So I was in professional environments, and I actually had a situation where somebody saw my PICC line exposed at the office, and they asked, well, what's going on with that? I didn't need that conversation at that point in time. So I put together something that looks suitable for a professional environment. Okay. So I also use performance wear fabrics. And so part of my mantra behind my company is to stay active and to stay motivated and inspired about life through whatever it is that you're going through. And so I actually promote physical activity through difficult physical or health events. And so that's a big part of my product as well. So you can buy PICC line covers from different types of manufacturers, but in addition to the quality of the fabrics that I use, like I said, they're also antibacterial, able to be worn in a professional environment. They also have this mantra of stay active, be active while you're going through what you're going through in your life. So I'm very proud of that. In addition to my PICC line business, at the same time, I started a personal life coaching business.
Well, that's cool.
That's called Essential Elements Coaching. And so I actually have been certified as a professional coach. I did my training with a program called Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. It was a program. I want to say, well over 100 hours of training. And I did that because I wanted to really help people that were similar to me, in that I was mid-career and I felt like I needed direction. And part of that also came from the fact that I had a major health incident, which is why I had the PICC line. And I was at a place where I was at a crossroads, and I needed to know, how do I get to the next place? How do I know what the next place is? And so that really spurred my interest in coaching. And I would do that full time in addition to my current job if there were more hours in the day. The clients that I've worked with, all, I would say life-changing experiences for them, but also me working with them. Me being in a corporate role now, I can also say that all those skills that I learned being a personal life coach helped me be more effective in how I work with people day in and day out every day. So, I've taken now, or I would say I actually have developed a new pillar. So earlier I was mentioning about guiding pillars. Now I want to work in energy. I want to be in commercial roles because of my personal experiences. I now had a new pillar of wanting to help people. And so that spurred then 2 businesses. And so now that I have this extra layer of wanting to help people, it's how do I extend that across, other parts of my life, my daily job. And like I said, I've managed to find that my coaching helps me out every single day.
And that's really the purpose of this show, is just to help people in my LinkedIn network, people that might tune in and learn something new, something that they might be able to take away and help them in their job or in their family or business, whatever, What's the one key skill you need to be a life coach? Not that you can boil it all down into one thing, but I'm thinking of something right now, but what would you say is the number one skill that a good coach needs? Because how do you know what someone's supposed to do? Do you know what someone's supposed to do, or do you help them come up with what they're supposed to do? What's the number one thing? So I got too many questions going on there. I'll start with the first one. What's the number one skill do you think a coach needs?
That's a very good question. And I would say the number one skill is active listening.
That's what I had in mind.
You have to be able to actively listen, and
that takes a lot of work.
It's hard being quiet, right? I mean, it's why we talk about, awkward silences. People aren't comfortable with periods of quiet. And as a coach, you have to let the learning happen at times in the periods of silence for people. And so active listening is number one. And number two, I would say, is knowing what questions to ask to let people find their own way. So as a coach, which would be very different from, say, a mentor or a consultant, we also differentiate ourselves from being a therapist. We let people create their own paths. And it's our job to give people the room to say that whatever you want to do is the right choice for you.
I find it interesting that, people listening or watching to this probably think, why would I need a coach? Why would I need, but even the greatest athletes, Tiger Woods, I'm thinking of Tiger right now. I'm sure there's others, all have coaches to help. You would think that they would be the ones helping people, but they even realize that they need someone to help them with their skill set to stay on top of their game. So I think that's really interesting. People should consider getting a coach or something to help them, because there's 17 million people out of work right now, and there's other people that are on the bubble and don't know if they're going to make it through, and all these questions, and they're trying to make it on their own. But it probably would help to have a coach of some sort to help kind of guide them through. A lot of people, I think, have the answer already. They just don't know it. And a good coach kind of teases that out.
That's a great point, and that's exactly the right way to look at it. So, again, I think coaching really, in my opinion, is to let people feel comfortable and give them the room to believe that what they want for themselves is the right thing. See, I feel like we all, for some reason, get programmed into into this idea of what we should do, and what the should do's look like vary for everybody. And so coaching is to really help people unlock that individuality even of themselves, and to give them the room to say, look, this is what I want to do, and to know that that's okay. Number one. Number two is to give people the space to talk. So there may have been times in my coaching sessions where I spoke for 10 minutes out of an hour. And by the end of those sessions, my client felt that more was accomplished than when I was talking.
That's amazing.
Sometimes people just need to talk through what's on their mind, because another piece of this that's important for people is that talking with a coach is different from speaking with a friend or a spouse or a loved one, because we don't bring anything to our meeting with our client. It's just me and you don't have anything to prove to me, and I just want to help you have what it is that you have. And so that's very liberating for people.
Yeah.
And you really don't know, for some people, they don't know what that feels like until they are finally in that situation where they can exhale and just be comfortable with what it is they want for themselves.
That's a very powerful moment that you give them, because they, it's very rare, I guess, that people really get to hear themselves talk. We're all also busy talking to each other and over each other. When you have that space and those awkward silences, those awkward moments where you're forming your thoughts and you're not being judged at the same time, powerful things can happen.
You're exactly right. And as I mentioned, my coaching skills help me in my day-to-day job at ABB. And it's for all of the reasons that you just said. Even when I'm in a team meeting, whether it's me with my manager or me with one of my team members or a peer, I've learned through coaching that the learning is in the awkward silence. And so I let those pauses happen when I'm at work. I've also become comfortable with uncomfortable questions, because I know that everybody, so this is something that I had to learn through coaching and through the coaching training. I have learned to not judge people, because I've learned the power of not being judged. I've also come with an assumption with everyone that everybody wants to do the best they can every day.
Right.
No one shows up and wants to underperform.
Yeah, no one wakes up going, boy, I sure hope I screw up today.
Not a single person.
Not a single person.
Not a single person. So sometimes we don't give people the room to explain what's going on, I've noticed. Even of myself. I mean, there have been times when I've wanted to do a good job and I did what I thought was best, and it ended up not being right. And the person I was talking to or delivering this information to was not comfortable to ask me why it wasn't right. But had given me the room to explain, they would have seen that I did everything I possibly could to give them this. And that's the situation that everybody's in. But if you ask somebody questions, don't make assumptions, just ask questions. Why is this like this? Why is that like that? You find, and you pause. Don't make judgment, don't make assumptions. Pause. You learn everything that you need to know. When I started doing this, after I got my coaching training, I said, if I had known this 20 years ago, okay, I probably would be the president of the company. But you know what happens to people at work every day? We all bottle up a lot of things. We bottle up things that happen talking to a peer or talking to a manager. So I've learned to do this with my manager. Ask him questions. If I felt as though a situation with me even may not have been handled the way I felt comfortable with, I ask about it. And when I get the explanation, I feel so much better versus doing what? Making an assumption, being upset, and then carrying that anger into a direction it didn't need to go into, right?
Right. It's
so
almost
little things like that.
It's almost criminal when you have someone who maybe underperforms or doesn't meet your expectations and you don't tell them what they could have done to do better.
Right.
And so they go off and do the same thing over again, not understanding or not having a clear expectation of either what you were looking for or how you thought it might need to be done, or probably not micromanaging, but yeah, not having a clear expectation of what that person was looking for. And then so you don't deliver fully,
right?
They say you get a C, not an A, but they don't tell you why.
Right.
Where's the learning opportunity?
Exactly. And this is the power of coaching for me as an individual, because now I feel empowered to ask questions before, during, and after everything that I do. And how that helps me in the workplace, and for those watching the show, it increases accountability, not only for me, but for a manager, for a peer, for a teammate, because I have now, through my questions, empowered these other individuals to tell me everything they want me to know. So it becomes accountability, shared responsibility, and the output. And so in the end, if everything's great, we're all happy together. And if in the end it wasn't worked out, then we all take responsibility for what we could have done to make it better.
Right. And yeah, and so a good leader is wanting to help their people do good work or even better work than they could have done. But it seems like those who are not confident will not tell you things to keep you from surpassing them. That's a whole nother topic.
And here's the power of coaching again. We never can make an assumption about someone because we never know what is really going on here. Why am I in certain situations? Why am I not getting the information that I need to be successful? So, am I asking the right questions? Is a great place to start. Am I asking the right questions? And if you don't know what question to ask, there is a question in that. And you go to someone and say, look, I want to deliver to meet and exceed your expectations. What do I need to know to accomplish that goal? And then be quiet and see what feedback you get. And what's going to happen is now I'm starting to get complicated on things. Now I'm starting to get to, I'm about to do an RCA on this. That's going to actually, get into, why we need to even have mandatory coaching at the leadership level.
What's RCA?
A root cause analysis.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to get down to doing a root cause analysis for a big problem for managers, for people trying to manage themselves. No vision, no clarity. So you can't give somebody else clarity when you don't have clarity.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. And people are uncomfortable with that being exposed, right? So at times you may find you ask a question and you don't get an answer because that person actually does not know the answer. Okay. But somehow that should hopefully expose a shared responsibility opportunity. And what I mean by that is if you don't get a clear answer, come back, to that and say, I need more clarity on this. I think we can try A, B, and C to get there. And if the person really needs help, they should be open to that. If they're not open to that, then you're dealing with the wrong person. Okay. we need to course correct. And that's a whole different call.
Yeah. That's a whole nother show, a whole nother episode. Well, I really appreciate you stepping in, Shanita, and visiting with us. I know there's a lot of people out there that, I mean, you hit on some, I mean, yeah, you're right. Pack a lunch. We could talk for probably 2 or 3 hours about how to navigate through the corporate waters and how to get the best out of, managing up and down the chain, managing up and managing down. If someone wanted more information about you or coaching or anything else, or their pick line, or how do they get in touch with you?
The great thing is that we're doing this show and it'll be shared on LinkedIn. So I would encourage people to reach out to me via LinkedIn. Feel free to share a connect request with me, and I'm happy to discuss anything that we've talked about on today.
It's awesome. Well, we'll have to have you back.
Most definitely. I would love that. We work well together, so I look forward to the next opportunity to do this. I
remember working when you were leading the project to go for the channel partner event in what was that?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Yeah, I gotta forget. But the interesting thing was your conference calls were I've never heard of anybody looking forward to a meeting, but I heard more than once, I can't wait for the meeting with Shanita. Somehow you turned those into just really fun times. I don't know how you did it, and I've never seen it done before. I've never seen it done since, but it was great. I mean, people were laughing and they were having fun, and I think we were all disappointed when you didn't take on the project role for the next one, because I was looking forward to the conference calls more than anything, But anyway, just
Thank you for that, and I will comment on that. I'll comment on that, and then I'll be quiet. So my conference calls for those meetings were all very intentionally structured. And the recipe for those calls were really just two things. Number one was to have a plan. Okay, because nobody likes to be a part of a project that doesn't have a clear plan.
Right.
And number two was to let the team shine. I mean, we had a team for everybody on the call. So I didn't need to do all of the work. I just needed to have the plan and then to let the team shine. And so I think that's why we had a good time and we had a great event at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, it was great. No doubt about it. So yeah, you can learn a lot from Shanita. You need to connect with Shanita on LinkedIn. Send out a connect request. Yes, and you'll enjoy her feed there on LinkedIn. And yeah, so thanks a lot for being a part of this, Shanita. And for those of you watching, you can, if you want more information on this show, you can go to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, like it, share it, leave comments. Oh, and so we'll eventually at some point get some coffee mugs online. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll. Yeah, I'll send one your way.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me on the show today. I really enjoyed it, and it's great to connect with you.
Well, yep, it is. So, next time we see each other, we'll have to play another game of Battleship.
I'm always up for the challenge.
All right, for Shanita Woodard, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for watching the Scott Townsend Show. Have a great day, and we'll check you later.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Dietzo Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.